Greetings YouTube. This is my second video covering the Helms Foundation basketball national champions during the early 20th century. This video will focus specifically on the champions during the 1910s. In 1910, the Columbia Lions finished with an overall record of 11-1. They were led by coach Harry Fisher, who was also accompanied by star athlete Ted Kendall. Out of New York, St. John's University was recognized as the 1911 National Helms champions. The school had a 14-0 record and was under the supervision of Claude Allen. John Keenan would be recognized as the team's outstanding player. In the Great Lakes region, Wisconsin earned the Helms title of 1912 with a 15-0 record. Doc Meanwell, who also went by the nickname The Little Doctor, was the leader of the team. Otto Stengel would impose a commanding presence on the court that would propel his team to victory each time they stepped on the court that season. The Badgers would win their third conference title, demanding the respect of the rest of the conference in the early years of the Big Ten Conference. The 1913 Helms champions were the Navy Midshipmen, who had a 9-0 record. The coach of this team was Louis Wenzel. Lawrence Wild would be considered the Midshipmen's MVP that season. This is the first school where I could really find information on who they even played that season. For example, Wisconsin's info on opponents only goes back as the early 2000s on their website. Some well-known schools that fell to the Midshipmen that year included NYU and St. John's, as well as Georgetown. Most of their games did seem to be blowouts, including a 49-7 walloping of the Crescent Athletic Club that season. Doc Meanwell and his Wisconsin Badgers would once again become Helms champions in 1914. This was probably because of their 15-0 record. Gene Van Ghent would be the best player the Badgers had to offer that season. South of Wisconsin, the Illinois Fighting Illini would be declared the 1915 National Helms champions. With Ralph Jones' leadership and Ray Wood's ball skills, the Illini would go undefeated with a 16-0 record. To this day, this team would be the only team that has gone undefeated in the history of the program. That undefeated season helped the Illini secure their first Big Ten title. The team would dominate their non-conference schedule, including a 52-6 drubbing of the Arkansas Athletic Club, followed up by the shellacking of the Illinois Wesleyan University basketball team, who lost 50-9. That dominance would continue into conference play. Illinois would go on to beat teams like Indiana, Ohio State, Purdue, and Wisconsin. For the third time this decade, the Badgers of Wisconsin would once again appear on the Helms championship list by posting an impressive 21 record for the 1916 season. It could be said that Doc Meanwell was the face of 1910's Wisconsin basketball. George Levis would take full advantage of Meanwell's tutoring and shine on the court. On the West Coast, the Washington State Cougars, commanded by a different Doc Bowler, would win 25 games versus only one loss to California in 1917. This impressive record helped them secure the attention of the leadership of the Helms Foundation. as well as their first Pacific Coast Conference regular season championship. All these accolades were accomplished despite a thin bench being a liability to the team's success. The team would play a variety of schools that year, including both Oregon schools, Washington, and California. Roy Bowler, who happened to be the coach's younger brother, was instrumental in helping secure this historic reputation for this team. Ivan Price was another important puzzle piece to this program's success. Unfortunately, he would make the ultimate sacrifice on the battlefields of Europe 1 year later. The year of 1918 would see the Syracuse Orangemen dominate their opponents on their way to earning a Helms championship with a 16-1 record, their only defeat coming at the hands of Penn, who won 17-16 despite only making one basket, and that was because their star player Sweeney made 15 out of 16 free throws. Anyway, Edmund Dollard would guide the team that season. While Dollard would draw up the plays and bark out calls, Joe Schwarzer would execute impressive plays out on the court that would leave his opponents in the dust. Other accompanying players included Johnny Grunauer, Charles Dolly, Bob Marcus, and John Barsha. To finish out the decade with a 13-0 record, the Minnesota Golden Gophers would collect another Helms championship. This time the team still being led by veteran coach Lewis Cook, who happened to also coach the 1902 Helms championship team. And the team would also have the asset of Arnold Oss, who would help the team prevent any loss from occurring that season. Erling Plateau, World War I veteran, would also be greatly appreciated by the team and its fans that year. The Big Ten champs team beat other opponents such as Indiana, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, and Purdue. One victory included a 68-4 annihilation of Wisconsin Stout College. In celebration of this year's March Madness tournament, I decided to honor college basketball by shining some light on the early champions and players of America's college teams prior to the modern day NCAA tournament. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, thank you and have a blessed day.